we can start with like the one trade that had both Minnesota and Boston in it, because I think it was very like the players that were traded from both teams. I wasn't super surprised. The package as a whole to me I was like, holy shit, I didn't have this exact trade in my brain as a possibility whatsoever. So I guess we could start there, and then like there's not a whole lot more to add for like Minnesota outside of like
goes
what it does, like what that makes the roster look like now. Because we've already touched on Nyquist too. So, but yeah, I guess we could start there. I mean, I'll open the floor to you though to start with it. Just like the trade, so Justin Brazaeu, and then was it a pick from Boston? I should have fucking wrote this down. I couldn't remember if it was Brazaeu and then like a fifth or sixth.
Maybe there was a sixth in there, but I thought it was essentially him for Khusnutdinov and Lauko, which felt weird. It felt very weird. Hand up, like I don't know nearly as much about Brazaeu as I probably should. Like your reaction definitely reassured me a bit that you were like excited for both sides, unless you've been undercover agent this whole time. And like now that Brodeen's hurt, you're like, yeah, fuck the Wild. Yeah. It's funny though. The one thing I got to point out actually, one of our listeners, Roke Talk.
Mm-hmm.
He tweeted something at Russo about the like worst skating teams in the league, and team skating stats from NHL.com as of March 12th. Minnesota Wild come in at number 28 for like skating across the board. There's like top skating speed, number of speed bursts, like all of this is tracked, and they come in at number 28 out of 32, which I'm not going to say I'm shocked about that, but his point is like, oh, and this doesn't really factor in that we just sent out our two fastest guys and brought in a really slow guy. Mm-hmm. So we're probably the slowest team in the league. Crazy to me. Who do you think that there is a team on this list of 4? Obviously not the Minnesota Wild then.
It's Vancouver.
Yeah, number 32.
Yeah.
How? I would have never guessed that. Never.
I know.
That's insane to me. But yeah, the trade, I think a lot of people are pissed off, rightfully so, about the Khusnutdinov piece. I mean, I'm just going to come out and say it. Like, he got sent down. Did he, like, just have a big FU match with Bill Guerin over being sent down? And he's like, all right, fuck you. See ya. It feels like it's way too early to just be like, yeah, you're not going to work here. Or do you disagree? Are you seeing something different with Khusnutdinov that it's like, yeah, dude, you have no future here?
Yeah. So, I mean, again, I wasn't ultra surprised about like Khusnutdinov getting moved. And I just pulled up the full trade. It was Brazaeu for Khusnutdinov, Lauko, and a 2026 6th-round pick. Mm-hmm. So, but the big thing is what you just mentioned is like the speed factor to me is what was, I'm not going to say mind boggling, but like the fourth line when you had Lauko and Khusnutdinov on it. And I mean, at that point, regardless of whoever else you want to throw down there, that was your fastest line, whether like they play a pure north-south game, they're physical, they hit everything that moves. And I mean, the big thing that was missing, obviously, that you really were needing desperately, especially right now, is the scoring piece. The problem for me is like if you send both those guys out and you bring in Brazaeu, I love Justin Brazaeu. He's a big fucking, he's like 6'5", 220, 230. And like he can score in limited minutes, but if you don't like give him ice time as far as like offensive zone ice time, like I think in the 3 games he's played so far, he's played like 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 8 minutes maybe. Mm-hmm. And I mean, like, he's getting nothing. He's getting benched in the 3rd period. And I'm like, okay, so now this trade means nothing. But he has 10 goals, 10 assists this year, averaging like anywhere from 12 to 15 minutes. He's played a lot with Marchand and Lindholm, and that's when he's done the most damage. Like, he can play up and down the lineup, and he does not, obviously, he can't play with like super high speed. The skating's like, it's literally just the speed part. But he's like weirdly agile, and he can still beat guys wide. It's fascinating to watch. But he's really good in front of the net. He's got unbelievably sick hands. But like, to me, I just watched the games that he's played so far. He's pigeonholed on the 4th line, 0 power play time, and like again, almost no third period like shifts. Like you're just not going to get any kind of value, any bang for your buck when you move out your two fastest skaters plus a pick in 2026, like for just an asset that you probably are not going to use, just judging by like the ice that it's got so far, especially with all these injuries that are like popping up. I don't know how like, and maybe there's just like no other spot for him right now, but like the idea that he's getting 6 minutes and like no shifts in the third period, not getting any power play time, like you're not going to get anything from him
Now,
if you do that.
Is there something to be said for the fact, like, has he even practiced yet?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, that might just be like he's not ready to be deployed in certain scenarios. Like, I'll reserve judgment, I guess, until he plays a few more games. But I'm with you. Like, if it continues on that track, that's terrifying.
And like the thing to me is like, all right, so when Kaprizov, Eriksson Ek, like all these forwards come back, like, well, then you're like he's not gonna go. You're gonna take Kaprizov's spot in the fucking first line. Like I don't know what's gonna happen here.
Hang on though, if Kaprizov doesn't come back until like the last week of the season, he won't be ramped up in time for game 1 of the playoffs. So Brazaeu might take his spot. Do you know who loses this trade?
Who?
Fellowship of the Rink.
That's true.
Lauko was hurt so many times. You can't get those players on as guests when they're hurt. I guarantee you, he was going to end up getting Fellowship of the Rink logo tattooed on him somewhere. And now he's literally just never going to be anywhere except for the rink and Pete's studio. So.
And also, shout out Jakub Lauko posted the GIF on Twitter. The Simpsons.
No, Abe Simpson.
Abe Simpson, yeah. That was funny as fuck.
It was incredible. I also wonder if he's just like, yo, Pete, what should I post? And Pete's like, this. That feels like the relationship they have there. He's like, Pete, I don't get the culture reference. Just tell me what to post. He's like, got you, dude. But yeah, I don't know. It's a weird move. I'd honestly care way more if the team was in a different place and if it was maybe a slightly more meaningful like player we gave up. But again, it feels weird like Khusnutdinov was given up on way too quick if this was like the package that you were working on, right? I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's the part for me where I was a little bit confused. It was like I had a feeling that and I can't remember if I actually said this while we were recording or if I said this after you. Like I had heard that like Lauko, it would be like more surprising if he wasn't traded at the deadline than if he was. Like that was like very much in the works. I did not expect him to come back to Boston. But and then like same thing with like Khusnutdinov. I wasn't, not that I heard that he was like getting shopped or anything, but I do think when you look at like his spot in the lineup, prospects that are coming in, he was pretty much pigeonholed to like fourth line center, like maybe third line minutes. He's going to kill penalties for you. And like you mostly deployed as a defensive forward. But again, like he has the speed factor that like really no one else on your team has. But when I look at like a lot of the profile of the prospects that coming in, you know, there are a lot of undersized, super skilled, high offensive upside guys. And I do think obviously like they want to get some more size. And Brazaeu, again, like he has 10 goals this season. There are only 6 other players on the Minnesota Wild with 10 goals. Like he is automatically, he's tied for the 7th most goals on your team.
Kirill Kaprizov has been out for months and he still leads the team in goals, man. What the hell? Like I'm working on this. I got something that I'll be doing for a hot take in a couple of weeks here, closer to Ovechkin visiting. But like I literally found the highest scorer for the Wild every season in their existence. And then I took Ovechkin's goals each season and just like to show side by side like how insignificant the whole Wild franchise is. Like, do we just pack it in at this point? I don't know. But does Khusnutdinov and like, I don't have a better way to phrase this. Does Khusnutdinov being Russian, like, is that what doomed all of this? Because he basically came in and had control to say, you're not putting me in the AHL, right? Like he's a guy that would have benefited from more AHL time. And I feel like the team wasn't willing to pull the trigger on sending him down until it was kind of a foregone conclusion that Bill was moving him, right? Like he would have gone down way sooner. Would he not?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, like I still think like when you looked at his overall upside, or like or not even upside, but like the future in this franchise, it wasn't really ever going to be higher than like a third line winger, like a limited, like in a pinch. He's probably playing fourth line in his like essentially his whole career. Maybe like up and down the lineup, you're really even like in a bigger injury ridden season somehow than this one. But like when you looked at what the guys that you're coming in the future that are profiling as bottom six forwards, you've got guys like Stramel, Kumpalainen, like they're big guys that play that two-way game, like have a little bit of scoring touch, but like they're physical, they're big, they're mean. Like I think he obviously wants to have that in the future's bottom six. So like, I mean, I just have a feeling that plays into it as far as like, you know, who's the deal was going to be here. Well, again, I'm just surprised. I'm just surprised that you give up that much speed to bring in one player. We'll see if he resigns. Like,
probably won't.
Yeah, and I mean, now that I look at it, he came in Friday. He's there's no way he's practiced. If they've practiced, it's been once because they came in Friday. He flew to Vancouver, played in Vancouver for 5 minutes.
Warrior, by the way, for that. Like,
yeah,
from Florida, wasn't it?
Yeah, like could not have been farther away. But like he is a great player. Again, like he was playing mostly with like Marchand and Lindholm. Like he can play up and down your lineup. He can score in and around the net. Like, and again, for a guy his size, he's got ridiculous hands. And again, like he does bring you like more scoring upside in your bottom six if he gets the minutes. Like if you just play him in the neutral zone and like your own end for like 5 minutes a game, like you're not going to get shit. So we'll see if he like as he gets more practices here. You know, and gets more of an idea of like what's a better fit. Like we'll see if he just like gets some looks up and down the lineup. But I do think as far as like immediate scoring impact, given the minutes, like you're gonna get a plus there. I think it was just the package overall to me that was very surprising. Like I thought that was way more than I thought the Bruins were gonna get for Brazaeu. I thought that you get like a third or fourth round pick maybe.
Yep. Now anyone that
being said, great nickname though. Brazzers. It's a phenomenal nickname. That's the one time just having his name with ER at the end is pretty funny. His fucking nickname's Brazzers.
That's okay. Touche.